Hi everyone, and welcome to the BoldChess show. We are here to help you master the game and break the 2000 rating in chess. I'm your host Roland, and with me the international master Luis Midardi. Hi Luis, it's good to have you with us today.
Hello, Ron. It's a pleasure. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you so much for asking. We have collected the 10 most frequently asked questions by our visitors and members in one file so that you can help us get to the bottom of them and see how we can get the most accurate answers to these most frequently asked questions. These questions every chess player needs to know the correct answer to. Is lots of misinformation online, lots of sales pages promising you something totally fictional. We are here to get down to the bottom of these most important questions to improve the game and to guide the players to get the most out of their positions and hopefully achieve the master's level in chess. Are you ready, Luis, to help us with these questions?
Of course, it's a pleasure.
Amazing. Let's get started. I wrote down some key points below every question, but the reason why we have you on the call is because we would like to have your input on these questions, not just an input of an average club player like me. The first question is, what is the most important piece of advice you would give to a beginner trying to improve their game?
Well, like beginner is still a very like I know there are beginners that just like barely know how to move the pieces, and beginners that actually have played for a long time. So it depends, but I would say that first of all, you should learn some master, or you should master some basic checkmates. Obviously, I know like the two queen checkmate, the queen and rook, like the queen checkmate, these kind of things.
True.
So no matter what your advantage is at the end of the game, if you just have a couple of pawns, you'll be able to promote them and make sure you win. That's very important. After that, I think mastering tactical patterns to to get better in the end game, to grab the advantage. Most of the beginner games are not decided by small finesses in the end game. I mean, when it's very equal, no, just like one of them blunder a few pieces or blunder checkmate. So I would say learning checkmate patterns, learn tactical patterns, tactical motifs. Of course, play sound in the opening, not knowing theory, but I mean, control the center, develop your pieces, and understand the basic like rules of chess. I mean, rules and principles. Okay, play with all the pieces, all these kind of things. Follow them. I think people usually try to be too smart. These principles are good. They see how masters sometimes break them, but they pay more attention to the exception than to the rule. And
Right.
if they play sound chess, know a lot of tactical motifs, and know how to win games at the end, I think they will be doing well. And of course, try to solve soft tactics every day. And don't study too much openings. And even more important, don't spend too much time in openings. Don't think, well, Sicilian is for me. After 2 weeks, oh, maybe Sicilian is not for me. So they jump to another opening and another opening and another opening.
Right.
And the truth is, they are not giving enough time to the opening they are studying.
And the problem is not in the opening, maybe as well,
Yeah, yeah,
as you
usually
can see, in in,
like they
in
are
many
the problem.
games.
The lack of
Absolutely.
understanding is the problem.
Studying end games as well is also something that they can also consider instead of studying lots of openings. Maybe focusing on some end games might give them that little edge
Yeah.
that might really help them up. Amazing, Luis. This was really important to get in line for our viewers. The next question is also extremely popular, and this happens to everyone. Many players plateau at a certain rating, so basically they cannot improve further on. What's the most common mistake you see intermediate players making that prevents them from progressing in the game?
Well, I think spending too much time in openings is usually a mistake. Don't understanding where their mistakes are, because if you take your last, I'll say a kind of random number, 50 games, 100 games, you actually try to analyze like where are you making the mistakes, and you, let's say, realize, I know you are missing too much tactics, or you are blundering at the end of the game. Like, try to understand where are you losing the points you are losing, and focusing one thing, that is fixing your biggest problem, usually helps. Also, sometimes um, having a stronger player, I mean, the easiest way is just to hire a coach to analyze your games and tell you where you're making mistakes, because sometimes I realize people think, I know, they are very bad at tactics, or they are very bad at endgames, or they have a bad memory. But as I have worked with many players, I can tell them, no, no, actually, it's the opposite. You might think people know their opponents very well, but it's the opposite, or people don't calculate better than you, don't worry about it. But actually, look at this, and this game. You are missing a lot of points and a lot of opportunities when you reach these kind of positions, for example. So I would say understand where you're making your mistakes, and focusing one thing at a time and try to fix it is usually very helpful and a very easy and efficient way to improve your results.
Absolutely amazing. That was very practical advice for all players who are currently stuck in a specific rating. Um, this is something they need to always keep in mind. Training patience and to analyze their games at a deep level, and of course consider hiring a coach if any of these was not helpful enough. Next, we have a popular question that some of our members asked, which is, what is your preferred method for studying openings? Do we need to memorize every line? Do we need to understand the key principles? Or is there something else that we need to keep in mind?
I think, as usual, it depends on the level, but memorizing concrete variations is much less important than what people think. First of all, because when, for example, I play a game against a grandmaster or an international master, it's very likely that he will play the best moves for, I know, like a lot of moves in a row. But actually, at beginner level, the opponents like don't know the theory, so they will play a not a random move, but okay, some move, and what they have to master is the skill to punish the mistakes their opponent makes, and to punish the mistakes, you have to understand why a move is good and what happens if your opponent doesn't play it. And I think people focus in like concrete theory instead of understanding what is much worse. And maybe like understanding the middle game plans, the pawn structure. Well, it depends in the opening, but understanding the pawn structure, like what part of the board you want to play in, these kind of things are much more important than um, just remembering top theory.
Absolutely. So we need to know the why behind a certain move, not to memorize it by heart just because it is the way it is. And focus on center control, having efficient development, king safety. These are all tips for beginners, especially the ones who are below the 1500. These are stuff mostly costing your entire game. If you are not pushing your king to safety early on, if you are not trying to control the center, if you're not having efficient development, if you keep moving the same piece over and over again, then probably this is something uh, for you to keep noticing in your games. And additionally, for intermediate players, as you said, they need to analyze why a specific opening came up to be the way it is, instead of just taking the moves as they are for absolutely granted.
Yeah.
Very well. Our next question is, how do you manage your time effectively during a game, especially when you are under pressure? So we see some players, for example, playing at home very well, and then when they go to a chess club under the pressure in a tournament, and when they see the clock ticking, they don't know how to manage their time very well. How they can actually practice for this? What do they need to work on to have a very good control over their time and clock?
Well, well, first of all, it depends on the time control like we are talking about. I'll focus in like classical tournaments, at least like right now, and many times you have to ask yourself the next question, which is like, is this a critical moment?
True.
And also, am I able to figure out what is better? Because sometimes you are, let's say, thinking between two moves that lead to completely different positions, and like you are in between, let's say, equal and slightly better in both, and you spend a lot of time because you don't know what is better. But sometimes I just ask myself, okay, but I mean, I don't know where I'm better, and even if you give me 100 hours, I won't be completely sure. So let's make a move, and you just make a move. If the moment is critical, you should spend more time. But if not, most of the decisions you just have to feel the position, and you can take them in like a couple of minutes, because you to feel the position, usually strong players don't calculate like 10 moves in a row or anything crazy like that. We just calculate a couple of moves, we make sure we are not blundering, we play a logical move, and that's it. I mean, it's not like you have to orchestrate a amazing plan to
Right.
win every move. So ask yourself if it's a critical move, and if it's not, spend a couple of minutes and work on your self-confidence. I'm not the like when I play tournaments, sometimes I get into time travel because I am too perfectionist. I try to play the best move all the time, and I know it's not the most practical approach, but I think ask yourself if it's a critical moment. If not, have confidence and just make a move.
Absolutely. Very valuable advice. What is your approach to endgame studies? So we talked about openings. Now we need to talk about endgames, since we did advise our viewers as well to focus on endgame studies. How do how they can get started with this?
I think um, like one useful advice is have, I mean, it depends if it's a practical endgame or a theoretical endgame. You want to like study theoretical endgames, you just, I mean, go to a book or go like to, actually to some course. For example, on chessball we have, with our course we cover this.
Right.
You master some basic endgames, and that's like the easiest part. Is just about memorization. I mean, understanding, but you just have to memorize a few key ideas and a few positions, and that's it. It's a bit more difficult when you have to, or when you want to improve your practical skills in endgames that are unequal, but there is no theory. So then it's more about analyzing master games, understanding the ideas behind them, and in general, like asking yourself, what would you do compared with what the master did, what your idea, and trying to understand the difference and what is better and why.
Absolutely. Do you think here they should watch games of players higher rated than them, or should they more focus on analyzing their own end games with a chess coach or with a chess engine if they can't afford a chess coach to see how they can do better in a specific end game after they cover the theory part?
I think ideally the best way to proceed is to analyze their games with a coach, because the engine tells you the best move, but it doesn't tell you why it's the best move. So it might be that there is some hidden combination that after 10 moves you win in some pawn race and you promote or something like that, or it's just like because it's the best move. So ideally, analyze your games with a coach is usually the best way to improve, especially if you can afford a good coach with experience that has improved, like has helped people that were stuck at the level you are to improve their skills. Sometimes no need to be a super top player. It's more about the understanding and the experience, and well, follow your coach advice, be a bit patient, and results will come.
Very well, very well. That's great to hear. So for our beginners, as you said, we advise them first to cover the basic end games, king and pawn end games versus king, rook end games, checkmate related end games, all this kind of stuff they can find in tactics, they can find in end game studies that are available in books, that are available in academies. Our BoldChess Academy also has them. This will keep them going for quite some time, and then after, when they are step by step, when they are approaching a high rating in chess, above 1800, 1900, next to 2000s, that's when they don't really have enough studies from books or from courses to go on. That's when they should consider hiring a coach to keep on going if they like to dive deeper into much more complex endgame variations.
Yeah, I think so.
Our next question is, how do you deal with tilting or losing streaks? What happens when a player loses continuous games in a row, and how he can break out of this losing streak and get back his energy and positive mindset?
Well, it depends on the kind of losing streak. For example, is different when you are in a classical tournament. That okay, you have to play next day for sure. Like tournament continues, you will have to fight for 3-4 hours. Next day, you might not be
Right.
able to sleep. Then you are just like playing on internet. You tilt, I know, you break the mouse or whatever. So when you're playing on internet or like when you have the chance, just take a break, try to analyze why what is happening, and once you understand it, I think it's easier to move forward and well play well. If you are doing a tournament, I think the best advice is just to remember the players you are, remember like how many games you have played. Okay, 1, 2 bad games. Don't change the player you are, because sometimes the problem is not like we are playing so badly. The problem is like we lose 1, 2 games, so we have no confidence. You start taking more time. You start second guessing yourself and all these kind of things that lead to worse results. So then you keep losing, and it's like a not ending streak of bad results, bad feelings. So just think like the next game is a new game. Don't worry too much. Try to enjoy playing. Sometimes, well, people make an effort to play a tournament. Once they are there, they are suffering the whole tournament. So, I mean, we love this game. Try to focus about that. Try to analyze why things are like going badly, and take it as an opportunity to learn.
Absolutely. So they need also to learn on to focus on the improvement areas and to enjoy the tournaments, as you said, instead of worrying about the result of the game. The result takes care of itself. Don't worry about the result. What matters is that you are doing your best every single match, and you are recognizing when it's time for you to take a break from chess. If you are playing, for example, online, and you're not like tied up to a specific schedule or tournament, and after you sat down for a couple of hours, you started losing in a row, probably you have reached a point of burnt out, or you're just not, your brain is not functioning the way it was a few hours back. And if you are in a live tournament, as what Master Luis just shared with us, try to isolate every game and enjoy it as much as possible, while actually analyzing your game after the match and see if you can identify what actually went wrong in an objective way after isolating your emotions from the game. The more you isolate your emotions, keep your emotions away from the game, and try to enjoy the process of competing in chess rather than actually worrying about the end result. All chess players experience losses throughout their chess career. It's totally normal. Just think of it as a stepping stone, as we say.
Yes.
Next, we have a question about your opinion on using chess engines.
Well, I mean, engines are super strong. If you want to use an engine, use Stockfish. I have heard about some people that buy engines nowadays. Okay, the best engine available in the market by far, and the world champion, and like well, that's the strongest by far.
For so many
It's
years,
Stockfish.
yes.
Yes, it's
True.
free. There is no doubt about it. I know, like, no matter what professional you ask, he uses Stockfish mainly. I mean, so just download the Stockfish, use Stockfish on BoldChess, on BoldChess, I mean, on many places. Like, it's free, it's easy. Don't, like, I know, don't make things complicated when they are so easy. That being said, I would advise against engines in general for beginners. The issue is you are comparing your moves with some, I know, 3800 engine, 3700. I know exactly like the strength, but the point is about understanding the moves, not about memorizing them. And many times a beginner might think his move was a good idea because Stockfish doesn't criticize the move, but actually the reason why Stockfish suggested is completely different than the reason why the beginner or when the club player played it. So don't use it. I mean, don't use it. Don't use it too much. Don't focus in the move the engine is suggesting. Focusing why is that a good move? Why my move is bad? But yes, understand. Don't memorize. Don't just think, okay, this is the good move, this is the bad move. Try to understand and don't use it too much. I think people overuse engines like a lot.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right, Luis, about this. They should analyze the games by themselves first, and then if they like to verify it with an engine. You can also check how we analyze our games, me and Luis, online throughout our channel, how we use a chess engine. It's also a good example. We let the engine run, we let it come up with all the variations first. After we have discussed all the moves and all the lines throughout the game, then we consult with an engine to see if it can fill in the gaps, to see if there is anything that we have missed. It's always in chess engines, they complete your work rather than replace your work. They are complementary tools. They are not the tools for you to use, at all times. And there is absolutely no need to invest in paid chess engines. Stockfish is completely free and open source, and you can go to boldchess.com or any other website and use it. Our app is also free and open source. You can have it. You can check it on our website. There is absolutely no need to pay any money for these engines. And as Master Luis said, make sure to understand the reason why a certain move is played rather than memorize a certain move an engine recommended to you.
Yeah.
Question 8. What is the biggest misconception about chess that you encounter? We're talking about, there are lots of misconceptions about chess, of course, but there
Yes.
should be something really much bigger than the rest. What is it, in your opinion,
I
Master
think
Luis?
that strong players calculate a lot is the biggest misconception. Strong players are able to calculate a lot. But
Right.
strong players don't calculate a lot. I mean, like in some critical moment when it's needed, okay, we calculate a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, yes, a few moves. I know some pawn raise. Okay, we can calculate. I know 10, 12 moves in a row if it's needed. We can play blindfold if needed. But during most of the game, it's just about one, two moves calculation. It's just about understanding better, and most of the time we spend is in understanding the position, like realizing if this position is better than the other. I mean, not reaching this position in our calculation, let's say. So I think that is the biggest one. And yeah, I know what other misconceptions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Maybe
They
there are
always
many, but I think this is the biggest one.
right.
Sorry
Uh,
that I interrupted you.
no, no, it's all good. I was just going to summarize your point for all the viewers. Basically, chess is not just about calculation, as what Master Luis said. A chess player also need to know lots of things. He needs to be balanced, and there is also something to mention about psychology and balancing the lifestyle of players. Good players become masters, like what Luis has achieved in his chess career, not just by purely focusing on calculations. He would need to master several areas in life. He needs to cover strategies, intuition, and psychology. He needs to have a balanced lifestyle as well as in prioritizing his mental and physical fitness. These are also very important to help developing the brain to the next level. Calculation is part of the equation, as you said, and many chess players even they don't calculate deeply every single move because they count on their pattern recognition, on their strategy, and on their overall years of experience to do that. So if you don't have the capacity to calculate so many moves ahead, it doesn't mean you cannot play chess or you cannot enjoy the game. Calculation skills can be improved in time, and they are not the only factor to become a good chess player. Next, we have a question which we see from players who are approaching the rating of 2000s usually. And this is a question I asked you in the past as well, because I'm one of those players who got stuck at that rating for a very long time and still, in a way. Uh, how would someone who is aspiring to become a titled player break through the rating of 2000s and actually start competing against candidate masters, national masters, or even international masters in certain cases? What do they need to do to be able to achieve this state?
I think focus in the process more than in the like in the results short term, and like think long term, not so short term. When deciding well about everything, ask themselves what is the best decision long term. For example, imagine you are in a game and a title player offers you a draw. You can suspect you are like doing well, so still people are afraid, so they accept the draw offer. So if they ask themselves what is like the best decision to learn or like to improve long term, is obviously always to keep playing, because okay, if you win is great, if you make a draw is great, and if you lose it's a good opportunity to learn. But people still accept this draw offer. It's just an example, but like in general, and think about what is the best option to improve long term and not think short term. Obviously, work a lot. Um, Try to have a training plan. Don't change it every week, or like just keep the plan. Um, Believe in the process. You have the opportunity. Um, well, hire a good coach that helps you, that identifies your weaknesses and advises you about how to improve. But the most part of the job is gonna be done by yourself, um, spending a lot of hours working on chess, studying chess, and yeah, try to enjoy the process. Realize it's gonna be a long process. Some people ask, can I know, be a title player in 1 year? What can I do to like to get a title in the shortest possible time?
And
Okay,
fastest.
yes, like mm, yeah, the question. I mean, I won't say is a is a mistake itself, but kind of less. You should try to focus in improving, focusing in what is the best decision long term, but don't be so worried about rating, about short term things. Like, just enjoy the process. Realize it's gonna be long. I mean, usually people are too optimistic when setting their goals, and just enjoy. Remember, like, okay, you're playing chess because you like it, not only because the rating. People are obsessed with ratings. Okay, and yeah, enjoy and think long term, not only short term. That is what usually people do.
Absolutely. It's usually also important to mention that a title is just a reward for you that you have managed to endure this long journey in chess long enough and you have stopped worrying about the title itself. So you get the title in time. What matters is how Master Luis put it, is when you enjoy the process, when you focus on improvement, when you balance your lifestyle, when you prioritize mental and physical fitness alongside with your chess studying routine. That's when you see these little improvements month after month, year after year. And in time, before you know it, if you are joining enough tournaments, if you are enjoying the process long enough, you will get the title as a reward for doing all that. But the title itself should not be the end goal. It should be just something that you get along throughout your journey while you are approaching and playing chess every day or in every event. So overall, as we uh, as we always recommend, set realistic goals and make sure the goal is the enjoyment of chess itself and not the title. This will give you the fastest results if that's what many people are worried about. This will be the fastest path. If you focus, if you get stressed about how much rating points you are winning or losing every day, then that will delay your progress instead of helping you. And last but not least, we have a question about what other qualities are important for successful chess players. So we talked about analysis, we talked about calculation, we talked about how they need to study openings and end games and all this kind of stuff. But what do you think, Luis, other chess skills are important, or other skills in general are important that chess players tend to overlook or not even consider as part of their career?
Well, I think discipline. I mean, um, some people like get angry because they didn't study a day. So as they are angry with themselves, they don't study for 1 month or 1 week. So I mean, take it easy. Try to be consistent. One day something happens, you cannot follow your routine. It's okay, but try to be disciplined over time, and results will come. Be resilient because when bad results come, people quit. People, well, second guess themselves. All these kind of things. Okay, as we said earlier, focus on the process, and of course, be objective because I don't know, like I like lately a bit less, but one of the questions like I was asked a lot, or one of the things I heard a lot was, well, I am 2000, but I am lower rated. I play as a 2200, and like usually, I mean, I try to not be mean, but okay, if you play like a 2200, why are you 2000? So people tend to be too optimistic or like, okay, analyze yourself, realize about your mistakes, try to correct them. Don't think you're gonna correct them in 1 week or in 1 day because usually it's gonna take time. But once you do that job, things like will improve. You will enjoy the results. As you say, you will have rewards. Maybe a title will be a good reward. Winning in general is a good reward. But be consistent. Be self-critical. Be objective about yourself, and like think in the long term. And obviously, well, mental and health fitness, because yes, I mean, without mental fitness and without mental health, you cannot deal with losses. You cannot be objective about yourself. You will not be consistent in your training. So I mean, you need to have a healthy lifestyle, a consistent one, and things will go well. And no worries. It's
Absolutely.
like it takes time, but it's easy. Like you put the work, and finally you get your reward. You get your result.
So true. For them to be disciplined, resilient, and to invest in self analysis without having any bias in a specific direction, and when they are balancing their lifestyle as well. This is also applies to busy adults who they took chess later on in their career, and they are balancing out between work and chess studies, and then they need to pay attention to their mental and physical health, because if they got a very busy week at work and they are under stress, they cannot expect themselves to perform very well on the chessboard as well, even though they may consider it as a hobby. But still their overall mental health and fitness is plays a role and get carried over to the board, whether they are playing locally or even online. And again, as we can see from many international masters and even grandmasters, all of them, they integrate sports and physical fitness throughout their daily lifestyle. They consider exercising and working out very important for the brain to function very well on the board. This is something we don't see often, but if you have been not considering exercising and working out, now it's the right time to do it, because believe it or not,
Yeah,
this even affects your chess score at the end of the day.
yeah. I think that's important.
Amazing. We have a bonus question here. We have many chess platforms offering monthly subscriptions, and some of them are actually expensive or offering services that don't usually equate to the fees that they are asking. Is this the best approach for beginners to invest in these platforms, do you think, Master Luis? Or is there like a better approach for them to get started in chess?
Honestly, I can't think about any platform that offers monthly subscription that I think it's really worth, and I might be forgetting. Like I apologize in advance if I'm forgetting about something, but I don't think so. First of all, in general, people buy many courses. Okay, you buy a course, you try to finish it.
True.
And I mean, don't like um, hiring a coach might be a bit expensive or might need some money, but like chess material is so cheap. I mean, you can well have a lot of material, a lot of quality, a good quality material that is not that expensive. I would honestly advise for buy a good course, a really good one if possible. Well, a course that covers different things and make sure you master it. Like it's better to pay a higher price once for a good course than keep I know monthly subscriptions that are not really worth. I know like buying different bad courses. I mean I know like just spend money once and like buy a good course, and that's it. I mean,
Absolutely. I also believe the same. Especially for beginners, monthly subscriptions are not necessary, and for professionals, they might consider actually joining a local club and working with a coach closely for them to get their first title in chess, rather than actually going online and investing in these monthly subscriptions that are offering them exactly the same tools and the same courses. We have lots of books and academies online that offer everything for a one-time fee, including BoldChess.com. We offer everything for a one-time fee, no monthly subscriptions, and all chess tools, at least the best ones, are all of them free and open source. So don't waste your money in open source tools and engines and monthly subscriptions. If you have the budget, as we always recommend, join a local club. You can hire also a coach online or offline. And if you are a beginner who simply starting out or even below the rating of 2000s, which is actually the objective of our channel, is to push all our players towards the rating of 2000s, so they are perfectly qualified to compete in a good way in local tournaments and to work with chess coaches if they ever want to push their chess career to the next level. But overall, yes, as you said, Master Luis, they should more consider investing in one-time fee chess materials if they can afford it, and never waste money on chess tools, because all the best ones are free and open source. We have resources on our websites that shows you which ones are good. We have videos on our YouTube channel as well that covers all these tools. So you really don't have to invest in any of these. It's good to remind everyone that our BoldChess Academy covers everything. A beginner up to the late intermediate stage, up to the rating of 2000s, where we cover openings, endgames, tactics, positions. We have complete plans and checklists prepared by our international master, Luis, who is currently with us on the call, as you can tell. And everything you can ever imagine. We even have over 1900 puzzles prepared for you. So, and all are offered for a very low one-time monthly fee. Make sure to check it up at boldchess.com if you are interested. Thank you so much, Master Luis, for being with us today on the call and for answering all these questions. We would like to remind our viewers that if they enjoyed this episode, they can always subscribe to our channel. And if they have any questions to ask you, of course, they can comment down below if they have anything that we didn't manage to cover. We have also a special chess tactics crash course, completely free of charge, done by Master Luis, available on YouTube, where we go together over a 3-part series covering all the chess tactical motives, which are basically extremely important when playing chess. Luis, it's been great to have you. Thank you so much for answering everything.
Thank you. My pleasure. I hope the viewers find this interesting and follow the advice. I mean, besides finding interesting.
Absolutely. Don't just watch the video and move on to, to the next one. Always apply what you have learned. We will see you soon, hopefully next week, Master Luis. I wish you a great day ahead as well.
Thank you.
All the best.